As the 20th century drew to a close, a unique global anxiety spread across boardrooms, government offices, and ordinary households. It was called the Y2K panic, a fear that, as the digital clock struck midnight on December 31st, 1999, computer systems around the world would malfunction or even collapse entirely. But why did this fear grip the world so tightly? And how was disaster averted in the end? To understand the Y2K problem, we need to go back several decades, to a time when computers were room-sized behemoths and disk space was a precious commodity. In those early days, programmers sought every possible shortcut to squeeze efficiency out of their machines. One of those shortcuts was recording years using just two digits, 77 for 1907, for example, or 88 for 1988. It seemed harmless, even ingenious. No one imagined these systems would last to the year 2000. But as the millennium approached, that decision loomed large. What would happen, people asked, when 99 rolled over to 00? To many computers, the year 2000 looked exactly like 1900, causing critical calculations, date sorting, and records to fail. Governments, businesses, and individuals faced a daunting realization. Decades of essential infrastructure, from banking systems to power grids, relied on software that couldn't distinguish between centuries. The problem was everywhere, hidden in payroll systems, hospital records, air traffic control, and even the mechanisms of elevators and traffic lights. The media quickly caught hold of the story, giving rise to a sense of looming technological apocalypse. Headlines warned of planes falling from the sky, nuclear power plants malfunctioning, or bank accounts wiped out overnight. In response, a global mobilization effort began on an unprecedented scale. Organizations combed through millions of lines of legacy code, searching for every instance of a two-digit year. Programmers and consultants worked nights and weekends to scrutinize, upgrade, or replace old systems. Billions of dollars were spent. Estimates of the total cost range from $300 billion to $500 billion worldwide. In the United States alone, the federal government appropriated over $100 billion to ensure critical infrastructure was Y2K compliant. For many, the effort felt like an arms race against the calendar. As New Year's Eve approached, scenes of heightened vigilance played out. Companies set up war rooms staffed overnight, ready to respond to any crisis. International flights scheduled their arrivals well after midnight, just to be sure. Emergency services reviewed their readiness checklists again and again. But then, as midnight fell across the world's time zones, something curious happened. Very little went wrong. Most major systems transitioned without a hitch. There were isolated problems, some malfunctioning alarm clocks, a Japanese radiation monitor briefly reporting an error, a few parking meters that thought it was 1900, but nothing close to the feared global meltdown. This outcome led to debates that persist to this day. Was the Y2K scare overblown? Or did the Herculean efforts to fix it truly save the world from unseen disaster? Most experts agree that the enormous investments in tireless preparatory work did pay off. Critical bugs that could have caused serious disruptions were quietly patched before they had the chance to wreak havoc. The Y2K bug, a child of decades of short-sighted system design, had been caught and corrected just in time. The story of Y2K is both a cautionary tale and a lesson in global coordination. It reminds us that the smallest decisions in technology can have consequences decades later, and that sometimes the things we don't notice are the very things that keep our world running smoothly. Ultimately, the panic faded on that first day of the 21st century, not because the threat was imaginary, but because millions of people across the globe worked together to fix a mistake, just in time.